Okay, I didn't expect him to reference that. Well, I'm going to ask you at the end how many Trinity things you saw. Okay, the sacristy, those are the rooms in the back. Yes? Sure.
Who was the architect?
It's at the top, okay? Ford Falwell was the architectural firm, and Michael Farwell was our primary architect, and they're the ones that were here. Generally a little more contemporary in some ways of other things I've seen them do. They were in the Princeton magazine a couple years ago, and almost everything was contemporary. But he was here 2 months ago. He came to a service 2 months ago.
I talked to him too because he wanted to show a client someone who's going to build a church.
He was here a couple months ago. Methodist, from the Methodist, yeah. Yeah, they're out of Princeton. Did you get one, Jerry? Yes. Okay, remember what I said, this is a draft. The three of us are putting together. If you see things that are wrong or not added, like the kneelers around the altar rail, I mean, a little obvious. We did miss things, I'm sure, but we're trying to find out, and if you know, our biggest mystery at this point is we have no idea who did the baptismal candle. We don't know if it was in the chapel beforehand. Bill Wolf doesn't remember it. We're trying to figure it out, and we're working at it. This is technically the baptismal candle, not the little ones, but this. All right, this one. So as you'll see, I've got names in here of people who have done things, but this is a draft, and there are things that are misspelled, but there may be missing things. Okay, the chief furnishings, let's get to that. What's first? I'll try to go in order, with some order. All right, I think we all know the Nakashima altar, right? I won't go into that any further, except to point out the butterfly joints. The butterfly is a symbol of resurrection, and they're clearly, he's used them in several places on the altar. Also, we have kneelers that are not being used currently, and there are butterflies on some of those too. And I think there may be, butterflies over here. Yes, there are 2 butterflies on these cushions. Okay, a symbol, as I said, of resurrection. Since I'm over here, take a look at these kneelers quickly. These are made by Ian McNeil, and you'll see in several places the quadrifoil, which is a symbol of the 4 Gospels in a church. Okay? Okay. Yes? I think it's cherry, but it's awfully big for cherry. So it must be walnut.
Yeah, I think it's cherry.
Yeah?
Or they found a tree outside of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking more likely, just given the size of the planks.
Definitely the butterfly joints.
Yes, for sure.
What?
The butterfly joints are black walnut, for sure. So I would expect that probably all of it is. And you notice, I'm not going to really talk about the organ particularly. I know I'm scattering around for you, but it's all here. If you see more, ask me. The organ is meant to go with this. Those of you who remember the discussion about the organ, there was a huge discussion about whether or not we should put an organ in, because the white was very crisp and very beautiful, but people were afraid we were going to put in a Baroque organ with gold and things like that, which would not really have done well in this area in terms of our architecture, you know. I'm not going to talk about that except for the flowers. Martin Pazzi, those flowers are called the Nativity or Christmas rose. They are the 5 flat rose petals. Okay, you see the rose things? So it's a nativity, new beginnings, all things fresh and new, full of hope. So, I mean, it's a lovely little touch. I mean, the church, I can't say this enough, the church has been very intentionally developed in terms of what it may mean to you as you sit here, what it may mean to other people walking in. They may not know the specific symbols, but it has been very, very intentionally done.
Could I make one comment about
Sure.
those carved things?
Mhm.
And I think you should check with him. I think that those carved things were done by Mark himself.
I think so.
They were a gift. It was not originally intended to be.
Ah, I didn't know that. That's what I need to, that's exactly the kind of information we need. Martin Pazzi, I think he was, I did not talk a lot about the organ because there's a big placard out front that'll tell you who the donors were and everything else. The organ for those of you that are here is, yes, it is paid for, because some people wonder about that. It is a major thing for a church. But Martin Pazzi was the person who did it. I know that the cymbal stern, sometimes you hear the little high bells. That was a gift from Martin Pazzi to us. I know that. All right, yes?
Can you talk a little more, you may have already, I'm sorry, it's late. You may have already spoken about the organ. I heard you say we didn't want a Baroque style organ, which makes sense. So where did this one come from? Who designed this case?
There was a committee, and we met with him a number of times. Stuff spread out on the floor of the chapel. There was a lot of discussion, and it was basically Martin Pazzi. And one of the things that, we've got so much to talk about. When you look up here, you know where the light is flickering? I can explain that too. There was his normal organ, if you see his organ, you see those two top struts? Normally would go to the top and be a triangle at the top. But we wanted our windows to show through. And, well, the architectural, as I said, for anybody who came in late, the church is designed as a ship, as many, many ships are, an upside-down ship. We're all on a journey of life. And with touches of a barn, or kind of a Quaker touch here and there. But that was left, it was a lot of discussion. He was not happy about this originally. Martin, to leave that area open so that the light would shine through. And there were supposed to be two lights there so people would see. It's a triangle window at the top, one of the ones that you may not have caught. It's like the one up here behind. For those of you I gave the quiz cards to, I hope you noticed that symbol of the Trinity back here. 3 and the triangle in the back. Okay? The reason the light is flickering, I thought it's because we couldn't get to it. They can get to it, but Tim wants it to go out because the heat apparently is one of the things that attracts the ladybugs, which messes up the organ. So that's no, yes, Pazzi, he built and designed the organ. Yeah, every pipe by hand.
This was his 17th organ. He was trained in Austria, and he came over here and started his, he is currently, by the way, started a company and he built many organs all the way across the country. This is one of the best organs in the world, I guarantee. And he is currently, he's retired, but he's running a organ building something or other in a monastery in Minneapolis. And Tim just told me something this morning that because, and he just started this, because of his renown, the monastery, he's just teaching people how to build it. They're not,
I don't know if people can hear you. I should.
he's teaching people how to build organs. And currently they have 6 orders which they got in the last 3 months for organs. And they say that this group of students are going to build them. but they're not going to, they will not be able to do any others but those 6 until 2035. That's how long it takes some of these, and they've still got orders coming in.
How long did this one take to build?
Couple years.
Couple of years.
Martin Pazzi, they built a place for him to teach, the monastery. They built a place for him to teach. All right, let's move, because we've got a lot to cover here. The only other thing I want to say about the altar is it's shaped like a tau cross, all right? A cross that comes like this. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I have it written down here for you to look at. It's one of the oldest forms of the cross, and it's the St. Francis, those of you who are familiar with that, he didn't sign his name. He would sign a tau cross, draw a tau cross. We did a whole big thing on the crosses of Trinity last year. We did a walkthrough, dozens of them, literally, and all the different types. If you're interested, I'll get you a handout for that. The baptismal font, which is now in the back, you came in through it, by it. We bring it forward for baptisms. We have it here in the back to remind people of their baptism. And you'll notice, those of you that are doing the cards, what do you notice? 3. It's shaped. Sidney Fox made this, as well as the hymn boards and many, the ambo that is up there, many other things here in the church. That I do have her name down, I think, for everything. The processional crosses, except for this cross, she made all of those, all right, for us. I beg your pardon? Sydney.
You have Ian on
For which?
for the baptismal font.
Oh, then it's Ian. Well, I'm going to check on that because the guy said Ian, but I think underneath it's carved the dedication, and I will check on that. Thank you very much. That's what I mean. We need to check, okay? Pews, you know about pews. The pews from the old chapel, some of them are in the balcony, all right? There are several things here from the chapel. Let's talk about them. It's not in order, but it's here. These 3 pieces, 3, of course, the Trinity, okay? These were on the, as you went into the side door of the chapel, there was a little entranceway, and these were on the outside of the side door. Roger pulled them out of the trash, and because when we had the demolition going, it was just unbelievable. It was just, anything went into it, really. So, yes?
I have one quick question. On the night of the fire, those convicts and I took the cross that was hanging and falling down, we took it out. What has happened to that cross? Is it back there?
Some of it was cut up into little tiny crosses which are facing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, the cross that is currently there, I don't want to go into this because we've, all right, but there's a long, no, that's okay, there's a long discussion of that on this handout that I gave out last year, and where the wood came from and everything else, okay? So it has not been discarded. It was refinished as far as I know. The only cross that I know is that is missing totally is the one that used to be carried in Good Friday. All right, that's gone. It had been hanging on the rectory, and it's been gone for about 10 years. Okay, from the chapel, there's that. There's the quadrifoil up here, okay? Behind you, did you ever wonder about that, where it came from? It's called a barb quadrifoil. Patrick has a theory. I like Patrick's. Patrick, you want to tell them what you thought the IHS meant as you were growing up?
Well, yes, as a child, in Her Majesty's service.
I love that. It's great. Anyway, the first known quadrifoil of this sort, barbed quadrifoil it's called, is from Notre Dame in 1260. And the quadrifoil represents the 4 Gospels, just as over here on the kneelers, okay? And the IHS, I have it written down for you because my Latin is very poor. non-existent. Where did it go? It's there. Yeah, it's definitely on here. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Exactly. How is it pronounced properly, Latinist? How is I'll mangle it. Salvatore. Salvatore, does the E pronounce at the end? No. All right, Salvatore. Okay. Isos, you don't pronounce the J. It's down at the bottom of the second page. Hominin Salvator. God, Christ, the Savior of the world. Okay? All right, the rondel, wait, there's only one other thing here in the chapel, from the chapel, excuse me. It's this. The little lectern. If you go into the chapel next time, look at the chapel railing, and you'll see that these ivy leaves, symbol of fidelity, are on the chapel railing, the brass chapel railing. All right? But we don't have one here, and it seems appropriate to have it in here also. Okay? Is there anything else from the chapel that you see that is here? Anybody else? Yeah, okay, those we had on this, going into the side door of the chapel where a lot of us come in, there was a little roof, and there were on each side, there were these railings. I mean, you know, it's screens, kind of, all right? And they were taken by Roger out of the debris. He also got the quadrifoil out of the debris. There were two in the old chapel. Don't know what happened to the other one. Yes?
I think they were speaker grills for the digital organ in the chapel.
Well, they were,
I think
maybe,
there was cloth behind it.
yeah.
They were definitely speaker grills.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So,
Like this also in the door out of what was in
Right.
Garfield, is in Garfield now, out to what is now the narthex. Weren't those decorative pieces like that in that?
I don't know. I don't remember that. I know that these came from the outside.
Well, those
Okay.
were outside as well, to maybe have
Yeah.
in the outside door to.
Well, it was, the chapel side door was peaked, very peaked, and they came down on both sides. Okay, hymn boards. They were made by Sidney Fox. Ambo is made by Sidney Fox. What else do you see? Oh, we've got to talk about this cross anyway, and these two crosses briefly. This cross over here is our main processional cross. Yes, I'm sorry.
Who is Sidney Fox?
Sidney Fox. Oh, she's a member of the church here. She occasionally attends 8 o'clock, okay? She'll come to this service once in a while.
Buckingham Friends.
I think she still does.
Or is she retiring?
Retiring. What? At the day school. Ashley designed the cross, the bronze cross, and the reason it's not used every week is it's very heavy. It's very heavy, too much for the kids. All right. You should come up and take a look at it sometime, because it's the hand of God holding the church, but specifically it's Trinity Church, the chapel. All right. And the staff, these staffs are not easy. You don't just put a stick on them. Bromley Lowe did this one, and Sydney did the ones for the other ones that we have. Okay, this cross, large cross, you want to take a look at this? I think this is in here. I did put this in here because it's pretty amazing. Oh, I know it's in here. Maybe it's on the first page. This was designed by Ashby with Bill Wolfe, and it was fabricated for us in Philadelphia, and the fabricator donated it to the church after that. A lot of things were made, designed, donated to the church. Many things. And
Explain the open, the symbolism of the open.
oh, this in itself is just a discussion. Some people see it as an open cross. Some people see it as a going through to Christ. Some people see it as being able to look through the world. It's an amazing symbol. The prototype for this, FYI, is, because it was too big, is the one that is out in the front. Okay, you see that coming. And a number of people have the open cross that they wear. Bill Wolf occasionally donates one to St. Nicholas or something, or as a gift. But the open cross is very meaningful, I think. And you never know what somebody's going to think when they come into a church and when they see that it's open. Those of you that are traveling a lot, yes, you can have a crucifix in an Episcopal church. It's fine, all right? We have an absolutely gorgeous little one that came through the fire. If you go out to that little area by the sacristy, in the narthex, looking toward where our temporary library is, there's a small little one. It was in the sacristy of the original church, and it came through the fire. And it has not been restored. We put it up there just as it is. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how to turn the volume up on this. Move it up. Is that better? I'm sorry. Is there anything else I said that you want? I don't know what you didn't hear. How would you know? We have a lot of symbols in here in terms of light. Okay? We started off, these are called the Old and the New Testament. They all have very specific symbols, but we've got two, the Old and the New. Plus we have what I call the baptismal candle. You call it the Paschal candle, because we light it at Easter, and it goes through the Easter season. We also bring it forward for when we have baptisms and things of that nature. Occasionally for a funeral. All right? Okay? But we don't, if any of you know where it's from, Bill, Roger, and I have no idea. Bill is convinced that it didn't come, it wasn't ordered when we had the people come in and work on these. All right, all of this was done. This is all in your, I don't want to duplicate necessarily what you can read, but this was done by a man in Lambertville, and the top was made to match the woods here. We know about all of this, all of these, but we don't know where the ironwork came for the Paschal candle. What else do we need? The ambo, you know, altar railing, inboards, credence table. This isn't just a little nothing table over here, all right? Credence table, it's from Credo, I believe. We, within the Christian community, at least think of it as we put the elements for the Eucharist there before they're brought forward, but ironically, and I thought you'd be amused by this, we took this, not Trinity, the church, adapted it from credence tables, credo tables. In the Middle Ages, you know, people who were in the nobility, they would have taste testers. The food could go bad, or other bad things could happen from other people, and the taste testers would make sure that it was all right, believable, acceptable. And we just kept the title and used it in terms of what it means to us, in terms of the elements of the Eucharist. Okay. Let's see, what else might you not? When you look around, what do you see that you would like to have discussed? The lanterns, the candles, the Paschal candle, the lanterns that we are relatively late, all donated by members of the parish, refer to Christ, the light of the world. and how we receive light, and we go out with light into the world. It's an important symbol, and it's one of the reasons that the church does not have currently, or probably ever in the sanctuary, as I said before, stained glass windows. We want to see, to go out and come in. Same with the clerestory windows. Those are up above. The light comes in, and we see out, and should go out.
Susan, I know we can't see them right now, but who made the torches that we put up?
They're here. The torches that we put in the aisle, I call them the aisle torches. You'll see them in here. And I think it's the same fabricator that did the, Andrew Logan. He's Bromley Lowe's son-in-law, I think. I've heard he was Bromley Lowe's son-in-law. Those of you that haven't attended Christmas Eve and some weddings here, we have aisle torches that come up and beautiful flowers go on the top of them. All right? Easter? Well, the Easter vigil service anyway. We don't light them usually in Easter. All right? Again, a local person related to the church.
And if you want to see them for any reason, they're in the closet.
Oh, don't even look in that closet. Oh, don't even think. All right, colors and the liturgical colors and the anapendium. These are called anapendium. All right. They were originally Bible markers, to keep the Bible or the books open. And the only reason I've included all of this, because like the chasuble does go away, we put it away during the week, is because if you come in to help in the church or just to meditate, just to come into the church at some point, the colors will be up. And they, as you all know, are seasonal colors. And what they symbolize, I have for you here. Obviously, we're in green forever. Ordinary time. All these things in terms of education, life, hope, and everything else. The color of Christ is usually white with gold. And white, for some reason, did not get underlined there. But it's another thing for me to fix. The chasuble, you notice that Rob only puts the chasuble on when he's going in to serve in the priestly function, not the teaching function, but the priestly function of the Eucharist. And that is traditional, at least in the Anglican Episcopal Church. Some other churches may use the colors and chasubles differently, but in our church, not just Trinity, priest does not have to wear a chasuble, all right? But it's one of those things that he was talking about. There's tradition and there's living tradition. And it's a visible reminder that he's taking on a different role when he goes behind the altar to serve the Eucharist, right? And even people who don't have a clue what a chasuble is or what the sanctuary differentiates from the nave is, they can see there's a difference there. And it makes it more alive. There's a lot of symbolism. He was speaking about his stole the other day. I was taught that the stole also is a reminder of Matthew 11:30. I looked it up. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. And also Christ in the same section calls one to take his yoke upon them. And it's a symbol of the yoke of service, a willingness to serve. The cassock, which we rarely see Rob wearing, but he's wearing it underneath that black long robe, all right? It's called a cassock. And even the 33 buttons on it symbolize Jesus' life. Everything has a little symbol, which is really useful. I often thought that it would be great for a priest, or maybe they do it during teaching for new communicants class, to go through and say what all this means, just to not have the kids necessarily remember it, or for you to necessarily remember it, but just to know that there is a lot of, as I said, intentionality. It's not just thrown out there. Would it be okay to have a black robe with nothing on it? Probably, yes, but it's an echo back to tradition. And some of it came from very practical things, and we've just kept them on. And other things, not so much. I included the thing in reverences here because we have a large variety in our church of people who do different things to reverence the cross. I mean, I'm wandering around up here without bowing because I'm teaching you or leading you or asking you questions or things like that. But even when it's just a way of showing some kind of humility. And humility is really important. I don't know if you ever wonder, why does he read that book? He's probably done 1,000 services. It's a priest's gesture of humility to be reading the service, not to just do it from the top of their head. Plus, you and I know that when you're looking at people like I am right now, you're forgetting things. And you can get off stride. So there's a practical reason too, I'm sure. But it's a gesture of humility, like kneeling or the spracus, the cross, or whatever it is. It's a reminder. In our lives, we don't have a whole lot of humility. Maybe you do, but I don't. I just go from thing to thing to thing. My humility is in the head, if anything else. The Episcopal cross in the back, the flag symbols. The red cross is the cross St. George, patron saint of Great Britain. Okay, it reflects our Anglican roots. The 9 white crosses are called mission crosses, that type-shaped cross. 9 original North American dioceses. And they're arranged like the St. Andrew's cross, in a St. Andrew's cross shape. You can see the red cross is St. George. Okay? So the Scottish link, that's on the last page or second to last page of your handout. The Advent wreath, which is coming sooner than we think. I know. All right. Is it stored up here or somewhere else? I think it's stored somewhere else. It's huge. It's going to be hung here. Those of you that haven't been here for Christmas or Advent, it's huge. We lower it on a chain. It's big, like this. Yeah, you can see the chain a little bit. And during service, we lower it with the different candles. I have it here. Sometimes when you're traveling or you go to a different Episcopal church, sometimes you'll see all red. That's more typically what they have in Great Britain than here. It goes back and forth. And it's just like the different symbols. I have them listed for you here, being very aware of time. How did you come with your numbers? I should ask you that since I gave you these pages, when your little quiz sheets when you came in. How many symbols or references to the Trinity did you say? 12, 20, 20 some? Oh, please. Okay. Just take a look at the window. 1, 2, 3. Divided into 4s. All right? 3s. And the 4 Gospels. Trinity window. Done the same way. Trinity window, by the way, was a donation from the Blanchard family. Look at these lights. How many 3s do you see in there? You see what I mean? Every place you look, from the architecture, remember we talked about above, the triangle windows there and back here. There are all kinds of multiples of 3s. The church has been planned, and in that way, so that even if it's just subconsciously, you're picking things up. And as I said, many donations, something from way far away, not too far, Washington, D.C. This rondel up here, Bromley Low, this is called Joseph's Dream. You see Joseph and Mary, she's a little bit pregnant. And the angel, remember the angel? All right? This is actually a prototype from the National Cathedral. We have two of them, of rondels that are in the National Cathedral. The others are the Madonna and Child that we have hanging in MacArthur Hall. These were given by Bromley Low. And since it's a little bit of Christmas, we started with Christmas and the Christmas rose on the here. That's a little bit of Christmas. Let me just say something quick about the nativity scenes. We have two creches and nativities that we put up at Trinity. One is usually over here. It's really not ours. It's Whitney Chander's, and she lends it to us with those amazing elephants. And the other we put up out in MacArthur Hall. And that was a donation from one of our interns, Christine Ritter. Remember Christine? And she gave us these large figures, but the kids can touch them. They're heavy. We don't want them to pick them up. But they're touchable. And we put them right under the Madonna rondel. Okay. I think unless you want to ask questions, I can answer questions. Lots of questions. Oh, I know one thing that you may not know. This is called the fair linen. And the fair linen in a church is supposed to be big enough to cover a man's body. You know why? Christ. And there are 5 crosses on the fair linen. We have the 2 here, the quadrants, and then there's 1 in the center for the 5 wounds of Christ. All right. We cover it during the week with a dust cloth so that it's not just out. These things, this is called a ciborium. Somebody watch my time. I don't want to run you too late. Oh, we're okay. This is called a ciborium. And it's different than the chalices. It looks like a chalice, but it's covered because it receives the consecrated Eucharist. So that anything that's left on the patens, I didn't do it, it's supposed to go in here, and this would be used the next service. And the bread boxes that we have, here's one. The bread boxes have the unconsecrated Eucharist in them, so that this is kept separate. And also, I'm doing altar guild today. The wine that is not finished, we have a piscina in the sacristy. There are too many of us, I won't go into the sacristy. But there's a special sink that has water going in, but the wine goes into that, it goes right to the ground. All right, it just doesn't get mixed into anything else, and then gets rinsed out. This is our new ewer, and these are called patens, plates. And this is the priest's paten. You notice he has a larger paten to show you. He breaks into 4s, lots of 4s, as well as lots of trinities, aren't there? All right? And then these are the regular patens. Let's see, what else?
Susan, anything about the symbolism on the kneelers you want to say?
Oh, the symbolism on the kneelers. This is the one for those of you I asked to count the number of, and I'll tell you how many in a second. Well, I don't know how many, but many. We have, they weigh a ton. You see, we have the circle for the world. We have this. It breaks it into 4, symbol of the Trinity. And then we have crosses and flowers. These were done by all members of the church, started by our leader, Montgomery. She was amazing. Helen Montgomery was a force to be reckoned with. But she got things done, didn't she? And beautifully done, didn't she? Those of you that go to centering prayer or worship on Wednesdays in the chapel, the large hanging is the one that she did, as well as the kneelers that are in the front. All right? I didn't mention the piano. That's another issue.
You know, Susan, I have to tell you, I think I've known everything you said,
Good.
but as many times as I have washed and pressed the fine linen, I never knew that. I never knew about the fine, and I never knew that. I mean, we're talking like hundreds sometimes.
Yeah.
Or that I mended them, or right, I never knew.
Yeah. What else do you see? I think we've gone through pretty much the things that are normally out in the sanctuary. And the organ.
I also come with a question.
Yes, please.
When the Martinez sons got married here, they made wooden boxes for every single window sill.
It's down on the honeycomb.
That's what they want to know.
Yes, that is there, and it's for use at Christmas time when we have to put some potted plants in the windowsills
Okay.
and for weddings and
I don't know. There was a question about something that was donated, made for the church, for the windowsills. We don't put plants on the windowsills. You can see when it's happened. It's a disaster because the paint, you know, they get damp. People bring them in on a Saturday, or they leave them over a Sunday, and it's just not a good thing to do. So people, we have little white boxes that things can go in for weddings and things of that nature. We try to minimize the wear and tear on the sanctuary and in the church as much as possible because repairs are expensive. We just had to have the altar after 20-some years repaired. That was not a good experience. I mean, it was fine. Nakashima took it back. No, we spoke about that. Briefly, the reason the light is flickering and not being fixed is because the heat attracts the ladybugs, and the ladybugs get into the organ, and that throws the organ off. And
So they're waiting for
they're waiting for it to die. Yes. And it's very difficult to get up there on top of it. You have to put a series of ladders to get there. It's not an easy thing. There's not a switch, unfortunately. There's no switch.
Tim was saying that they tried turning on and off everything that they could in the whole building, and they couldn't get that to go off, so that's why they're both electric.
Yeah.
Well, this one has been dead forever, and now this, and now it's coming back to life, which is very scary. So, yeah, that triangle window that's at the top is not going to be illuminated at night very much longer, I guess, unless we just simply say to Tim, and they could, actually, just occurred to me, they've just put these little things in the sacristy that have a very annoying buzz every once in a while. They must be to keep the ladybugs away. Why can't we put one of those up there? And then we could have our light back on so people coming this direction, you know, going east, would still see the open triangle window. You know.
Susan, one of the challenges that church has that's used for a lot of different functions is that different groups come in here, the whole sanctuary breaks away and can become a platform. It wasn't made for that. But
can you hear what he's saying?
yeah, so I know when I was warden, I had a bad reputation because I don't believe anybody should put any drinks whatsoever on board. I just think it's bad because you say, well, you can refurnish it. Well, how many of you learn how to French polish besides Frank? No, I mean, it's a whole, yeah. And so, and with the Nakashima piece, I remember coming in once and they had this altar over on the side as there was a concert, and he had stacked up all of his recording equipment and whatnot on it like you know, it's just as one of those, that's real incarnation, you know, it's on the earth. But if you just kind of keep an eye on it, not that we're trying to do what Rob said, make it past, you know, a dead faith, but that it just respects the work, particularly Nakashima. If you don't know Nakashima, and I'm sure everybody has really gone into him, he's an extraordinary figure right now, and his
That's the same just for everything. You know, Christine was talking about mending things. The altar linens we mend as long as we can. First, because it's just stewardship in many ways. Stewardship of the people who have donated their time, thought, effort, talents, monies towards creating this place that we enjoy and we worship in, but also stewardship of finance to get things fixed. You know, it's just how it is. So if you come into a concert and you see, just ask them nicely. We do have signs that we put up. They're flat, so they're not obtrusive, but you know, it's just how it is. And it's good that the church is used for outreach. This is outreach, folks. And that's how we look at it. And it may or may not bring us new members. That's almost secondary to it being a place of welcome and peace, calm and beauty, a place where we feel, you know, that the gospel's being lived. We're in and out. There are just many, many things. There are odd little quirky things like Credo, and there are other things that are just magnificent that we care for. Sure. At one point, we had somebody here, oh, this must have been 20-some years ago. He counted over 100. Oh, please, yes, yes, yes. And please remember that these are a draft. These are not the final draft. These papers, you're going to see errors in them, okay? No, you're not breaking it up. We're finished, I think. If you've got questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Sure. Yeah, oh, please. It's just church. We could do that too. I saw it done reverently and beautifully once.
I've been to a service with interpretive dates, and we don't have a lot of space right here. That's the problem. I thought the people in the front row were going to get whacked.
I've seen it done, and it can be beautiful.
Yeah.
I should have said, one of the reasons we don't have much space, and I didn't say this, and I should have, is because of the orientation of the church. It's a steep drop-off.
Yes.
And the plan wasn't to do it this way. That's how it's worked out.
So the open front is in, I looked 3 times. That one.
It's not in this?
It's not in there.
It's in the other thing.
The crosses thing. Just thought I'd tell you because you wanted to know what was in this.
About the windows. Next to that.
Yes. The stained glass. Have you seen the chapel?
Yeah.
There are 2. I'm going to do one on the chapel itself because it's stained glass on the chapel. We have front high, and then we have one on the side. We don't have the others are not done. So the chapel would be our stained glass, and we would never do this.
Well, this is the search.
too now, we're last minute,
I know, but
but we're talking this
we're
week.
always generous about it.
Oh, and I think, I think we have, I know we're gonna be over in Allentown one weekend, and I'll bet it's that weekend.
No, but that's
So I
Don't
don't think
worry
we can
about
do it.
having it your place.
Well, I don't think we can, 'cause we may not even be there.
Right, that's,
I think that, call James, I've got an old swag.
yeah, I spoke to him after church.
What did he say?
He didn't seem to, he said, "Just talk to you."
I don't think he realizes, I think we're tied up. I think we're in Allentown.
In Allentown.
Yep.
Anyway, you look lovely today. Look at that combination. How is that perfect or what?
All right, let me put everything away here. Alter Guild. All right, well, thanks for letting me know.
What is this?
No, thank you for letting me know. Okay, I'll take a look at my neat emails. Apparently I got one from Rob too. Oh, well. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, good job. Very good.
A little scattered, but I hope it looked.
I think it was appropriate for what, the purpose was.
I think we have Allentown on the 28th, don't we?